Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Hope you are all having an amazing day today. My name is Lex and welcome back to some more GTA 5, where today we're going to be checking out a car from the Vanilla Works Extended Pack mod. Now you guys have pretty much been leaving comments in every single video these days begging me to check out this mod pack, and the thing is, it's so big and so detailed that I'm not going to do it in one single video because I really need to do this thing justice and really just show these cars in maybe separate videos, or maybe a video I do like a set of a few or something like that. I don't think I'm going to be able to do videos on every single car, but I'm going to try and do as many as possible. So today I'm going to be checking out this right here. This is the Anis Euros. This is like a new type of import style car for GTA 5, and it is of course all law friendly. It's not something, it's based on something presumably from real life. It looks like a 300ZX sort of, which I guess is where some of the inspiration has come from, but of course because it is law friendly, it means that it is not really like, it's not an exact car from real life. It's just based on it like the rest of the cars from GTA. So before we get into this car and actually check it out, because there are loads of things that we can do to this, there are loads of tuning options for this, so maybe we'll make a couple of really cool different ones. There's going to be some comments on the screen. These are comments featured from the previous video. If you would like your comments featured, you can leave them in the comment section below. I'll pick some at random and feature them at the start of the next video. And don't forget, you can also follow me on Twitter at Figureight. Links for my Twitter are in the description below, as always. So, let's find somewhere to park. Maybe one of these side roads, maybe one of these driveways. We'll park up. This looks good. Let's driveway right here. There we go, all repaired up on the driveway. This is the Anis Euros. So let's just have a look around this. It looks very much Japanese. I don't think this is going to be based on a car from any other country. It just seems quite 90s Japanese to me. Very Nissan 300ZX is what I'm feeling from this. I was going to say maybe a little bit of 3000 GT or a Mitsubishi GTO, but that's a stretch because it really looks more like a Nissan in this case. Especially with these wheels. These wheels look very 90s as well. So let's just go ahead and open the doors and the bonnets and the boots and all that sort of stuff so we can have a look inside. Here she is, all opened up. So in the boot there is pretty much nothing, just a nice simple boot. On the engine we have this lovely looking 3D engine. This looks to be a V6 possibly, going by the pipes on this. I could be wrong and I'm sure you guys would correct me, but it looks like a V6 with a nice carbon fiber cover over the engine, which is pretty cool. Onto the interior. It's very simple and it's based on... oh, what is this based on? This looks like the sort of like modern GTR interior that you get in this game. So of course it does make me think of something like Nissan. It also seems kind of Supra-y, but I can't remember the name of the car this is from, but this is of course taken from one of the other cars from GTA 5, which is always good because it matches in with the rest of the law-friendly stuff. So of course it's got all the dials there, all in a nice red colour. It's got all these dials, battery, turbo as well. We'll have to check in a minute to see if they all work for us. I've got temperature as well. They seem to be all working, which is very cool. And then we've got the radio right there. Currently radio's off. And then we've got some more things down there. Again, we've got another turbo, another temperature, water temperature I think that might be. Or actually there's oil temperature, isn't it? And then also battery. But of course the real ones are actually all up there and working. So we'll just ignore that. Actually, it's got two sets of radios I've just noticed. There's all that there, and then there's the same there. And there's also this thing. Interesting thing. Some sort of like old school ECU thing? Like a boost controller, but really old school looking. Well, that's interesting. And then we also have this to zoom out a little bit more. There we go. Nice manual, gear stick, and handbrake. And a cup holder. Lovely. So I just want to double check and see if these all work. Do we get any turbo spooling? Actually, there is no turbo currently added. I guess if we were to just go to menus, customs, and go down to the turbo section, maybe that would make the boost gauge work? Or maybe it's just a thing that just doesn't. Oh, okay, maybe it just doesn't. Oh, no, it does go up. There you go, look. There is the boost gauge. Wow, it even has a working boost gauge. That is awesome. That is really cool. That's a really slow spooling turbo, though. The way that goes down. I'm already in the red line for ages by the time that reaches max boost. Okay. Thought my car had turbo lag. Right, so let's go ahead and modify this thing. So let's go to menus, customs. So in Lowrider Mods, we do actually have a few options of things. I'm going to leave those till last. Let's start off with the spoiler. There really is so much to check out with this thing. So we have the stock spoiler, which is actually sort of, it's quite a nice little lip thing going on there, almost like a blended in ducktail thing. I do like that as a standard look. But then we have number 1, and I guess they are also all going to be spawning off of the stock spoilers, so it's always going to have this sort of lip thing going up, I presume. Maybe one of them will change later, we'll have to see. But we have number 1, which is just a nice little extender for it. Looks pretty cool, I like that one. Number 2. Number 3, these are getting just much bigger now. Number 4, these might all be this sort of style now. Number 5, number 6, number 7, just trying to go around so you can see all these. I mean, most of these are taken from cars that are already in the game, so you might recognize these spoilers from before. Number 8, which is of course one of these back-mounted spoilers. I've got to admit, I am a fan of these. That does look pretty cool. Then we have number 9, just another one like that. Number 10, ooh, always a weird style, that one. Number 11, just a nice simple one, bit wavy looking. 12, which is another back-mounted one, but less carbon fibre and less sort of thin. That's quite bulky looking. That looks like it takes someone's eye out if you reverse into them. And 13. There we go. That is all 13 custom spoilers for this first one. I don't know. I think this might be a little too much, but actually, I might go... I think it was the first one we saw. No, not the first one. The second one, because that feels like something very 90s. It's not my favourite style, but I want to go with a very 90s look for the first one, and then I'm going to go for like my favourite style one, or one that I'd like to have in real life as my second. So that's how we do it. That's always how we do it pretty much in this channel. Fun one first, serious one second. So I'm going to go with this one, because I quite like the idea of some sort of 90s little body kit version. So I think that spoiler matches. On the front bumper, we have an option of 3. We have the stock. Or 4, including the stock, rather. We have this, which just adds... Is that a black bar or a grill? It's like a little indent. Just a black bit on the bumper there. But it does actually look very 90s, though. It does... That really, to me, should have been the stock, I feel. And then that would have been like a smooth, modified version. But then we also have this one, which you can see the intercooler through. And then we have that one, which is... Oh, it's just a larger grill version with the intercooler. I feel like large visible intercoolers was again very 90s. I mean, just look at my car in real life. It's pretty much a very 90s car. So I'm going to go for that big exposed intercooler, bumper number 3. On the rear bumper, I'm going to go for what we've got. We've got the stock. We've got this. Again, that looks very 90s, in my opinion. I mean, we probably could get something a bit more 90s, but, you know, I don't know. Let's see. So we have this one. Now, here we go. Carbon fibre diffusers. That to me is very modern. I mean, obviously this stuff existed back then, but I don't know, when I see this, you know, like normally, like when people modified their cars in the 90s, they wouldn't have gone for these sort of diffusers. That's something that I think people do more now than they would have done before. And then we just have bumper 3, which is actually nothing. It just seems to be stock, interestingly enough. So I think I'm actually going to go for this painted one because it makes it look like an old school body kit. So I think that one's going to work, although I'm definitely not a fan of it, but I don't know, maybe one of you guys is into this sort of style. So then onto the exhausts, a huge selection once again. We have the stock. We have one, just a nice simple chrome on the side. I'm a big fan of that look. Then we have this one. Actually, that's a better one than the first one. I prefer that one. And then we have 3. I mean, the titanium texture of this one looks a little better, but again, I'm still not really that big on the whole burnt titanium tip thing. Then we have exhaust number 4, these dual chromes. Then we have the dual titaniums, there's little cans there. Well, I say little, just smaller than the ones we had before. Or actually smaller than that one, is what I was thinking. There we go, there's the smaller titanium ones. Then we have this twin. It's not DTM, actually. That doesn't really look full DTM to me, but a twin up pointing? There was a word for that, wasn't there? Upswept is the word I'm thinking of. There we go, the twin upswept exhaust pipes. Then we had the titanium versions. Then we have the little Bosasoku style victory pipe ones, as miniature ones. Then we have these actually quite subtle looking titanium ones. Even if they are titanium, they do actually blend in quite well because they look quite dark. And then we have number 11. These again, twin ones down here. Now, I guess I'm going to go for the DTM-esque one, but it's sticking out a little too much, and it's not completely, but this sort of, this twin, I think they were called twin DTMs. They were like slightly upswept ones. They were very 90s. I remember seeing those on a lot of cars in the 90s, and this is probably the closest we're going to get for this one, even though it looks sort of like a half-finished version of the victory pipe. But solid. I'm going to go for that. Maybe even titanium. Seems like I never do titanium. Again, trying to go for the 90s vibe here, even though it's not fully, but it's the best we can manage. On the chassis, we have the stock. These are going to be the roll cages, I presume. So let's see. We have number 1. Yes, of course, this is a back cage. And then we have the full cage. Now, I'm just going to go for the back cage on this one because I feel like that was also quite popular in the 90s. Lots of people used to do that. Some people could probably disagree with me. I'm just going by what I can think of, what I would have seen in a Max Power mag that I read as a kid in the 90s. So, who knows. Then onto the grill. Let's see. Oh, this isn't actually the grill. This is actually this little splitter down the bottom here. See, that's interesting because normally when you get like a mod, it does the bumpers and then it normally has these bits on the bottom. I like that this one has the options of both of them so you can mix and match. That's better for me. I would prefer if we had a front bumper and a front splitter as a separate option in GTA 5. Maybe that would be a thing for GTA 6 if you're listening, Rockstar. So there's number 1. There's number 2. There's number 3. Now these two... Ooh, actually that's not even connecting there. That looks like it should belong to another bumper. That it's not... Yeah, that's kind of weird. So I'm going to go for this one because I feel that that's just, again, very sort of simplistic 90s body kit look. I am noticing no side skirts for this one though. Interesting. So we have the hood options. We have the stock number 1, nice and smooth. Then we have the carbon fiber version. Then we have this one with the vents. Then we have the carbon fiber version with the vents. Again, I'm just going to go for this one with the vents. Now, this is interesting. I haven't actually done a video on this, as I proposed months ago that I was going to do a video on this about what the definition of RICER means. But some of you seem to think that the definition of RICER, some people say it stands for like race-inspired cosmetic enhancements. That was like some late deal thing. I really need to do a full video explaining this, but for some people, rice to them is like the 90s tuna scene look. So, oh boy, can't wait for the rice comments to come out of this one. But this is very 90s tuna scene, in my opinion. So that's the first goal. It is a 90s Japanese car. It was big in the tuna scene years. So that's the style I'm going for first. So that's the hood. Then onto the fenders, which is actually not the fenders. What is that? What am I looking at? Oh, it's on the front. It's this. It's just this bit right there. So there's the badged with carbon fiber. Then there's the badgeless carbon fiber. Then there's just the badgeless. Then there's a badged version that's... How's that different from the other one? Oh, that's... Oh, it just adds a little weird slope that... I don't know. That looks a bit bugged to me. Then we have that one. I think these bumpers are bugging this. I think that top part of the bumper shouldn't be interfering with these. Ah, that one actually works. That one is like a badgeless one with these little grill vent. In fact, they're not even grills. They're just indents. I don't know. That could look, again, like this was all part of one aftermarket front bumper. So I'm going to go for that one. Then onto the fenders again, which isn't the fenders. Let's see if we've got something on the back changing. This looks slightly... Yes, it is that. Okay. So we have the original plastic... I like to call them the heck blender, which is what they call them in Germany, like the middle bit between the lights. So then we have the stock, which I like. Then we have the non-plastic version with the badge, or of course the debadged version. It, to me, 90s tuna scene, debadged is always the way to go. So I'm going to go debadged. Then onto the roof scoops. This is interesting. So this is very much more of a rally thing. But again, I remember cars in the 90s having these. This was just a thing people did. So we have that one. Or that one, or okay, just the, okay, interesting, wow, yeah, okay, that's definitely not 90s tuna scene, that's more like 2000s Euro look scene, having the old thing stuck on the roof. That's quite interesting to have that on such a car, but do you know what, I like it because it looks functional and cool, but I'm going to go for that simple scoop as well. It also feels like a, classic Need for Speed, which I guess was, based in that sort of tuna scene era, wasn't it, really? The old, like, Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2. So, yeah, I'm going to go for that roof scoop. Then it's just a case of engine, brakes, transmission, all that sort of stuff. But we have also got the little extras as well. Let's go for suspension, knock that down. We can go lowered, street, sport, competition. There's the gap. Then let's just do paints last, shall we? We'll get a bit of a window tint going whilst we're here because, of course, that was very reminiscent of the era. Let's go for just a full tint in black. Then what extras have we got? We've got extra 10 and extra 11, which I think might be the cup holder on the interior. It looks like it is. Yeah, so I just want to go for none. Actually, I'll just go for none. And we've already got the turbo on there, so that's that done for the main bits. Let's now just go for the little details. Okay, so let's start off with the ice. So we have the stock. Oh, wait, hang on. Is it in the... Oh, no. Okay, it's not actually the in-car entertainment. It is the front plate. Okay, I was fooled right there. So there we have two options of the front plate. That one's got weird... I think that might just be because it's pointing down to the ground, but the reflections of that look kind of weird, so maybe we'll go for that one. Or maybe none at all. I'm thinking none at all. Then onto the engine block, so we have the stock with these big... Did those turbos... They weren't there before, were they? Hang on. Hang on. This is interesting. No? Were they there before? I don't remember seeing them. Something has added those in, but I don't know what. Ah, look, when I go to the front bumper options, when I go to 2 and 3, it adds these big turbos on it. Oh, because of course, it has the intercooler. Ah, interesting detail. I like it. So the engine block is this or this, which is basically just carbon fiber or painted. Painted was again very 90s. I'm going to go painted. On the fittings, we have, I guess these are just going to be strut braces. Let's just go for a nice solid one, I think. Like something sticker bomb's a bit too modern. Something, these are all good. That one's pretty cool. I'm just going to go for the big, thick, solid one right there. Then on the arch covers, this is painted duct and painted lights. Ooh, okay. I'm actually not going to go for that, but interesting look. Then we also have some liveries. Let's just shut all the bonnet and stuff down. So we have the stock livery of nothing. Then we have the Animo R-Tune. Oh, like a Nismo. Oh, yeah. That's very cool. So Animo is supposed to be like the Nismo version. Like, Nismo is to Nissan what Animo is to Anis. Very interesting, but that's pretty cool. Nice Nismo graphics. We also have yours, which is supposed to be like mine's. I like that again. So, of course, this is supposed to be a Nissan. These are all very Nissan-inspired liveries. Then we have the Endo Engineering. I actually don't recognize if this is based on anything. But, very interesting. And, I've got to say, very 90s. So, I think we might go for that one. And then we also have the Qatar. No, actually, both of these are very 90s with these big, massive swoops and the old shopping list thing on the side. Because, of course, this could be a racing car, but at the same time, this is just how they did it back then. So, I might go for the Endo Engineering. And I'm going to go and change the colours. And I think a blue is going to look good here. Okay, although, I've got to be honest, that does make it look like a Subaru now. Yeah, blue and yellow is definitely the Subaru colours. This looks slightly off now, actually. But I don't know, maybe I can change the blue and then it doesn't really have that same feel to it. So, there we go. That's the 90s style car. We have got to do the wheels as well, though. And, of course, I have got the law-friendly wheels mod on. Now, these wheels, I've got to say, are very 90s and very cool. I'm not sure what we got in here that's going to have the same feel. Well, actually, all of these are all pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty timeless design, some of these. Although 3 spokes, that was definitely something that was big in the 90s as well. I remember 3 spokes as a kid. To be honest, for the fun of it, I think I might actually go back and go for those 3 spokes. Because we don't actually have something like TSW Venoms or something to stick on there, so, I don't know. Actually, I can't tell. They do look like cool old Advans, though, so, yeah, I'm going to go for that, and maybe I'll see if I can change the colour. Yeah, something just black. I mean, would black wheels be 90s? I don't know, maybe white would. Or maybe I'll just keep that default. You know, I'm going to keep that default colour right there. And as for the lowering on this one, well, I guess that would be pretty much fine as it is. I mean, back in the day that would have been lowered, you know, some 60mm springs, that was it. Nowadays people want to go air ride and, you know, chopped springs or coilovers or something like that, but in the 90s it wasn't the case. Although granted, many people did actually slam their cars in the 90s, but I'm just trying to think of the tuner scene and what would have been allowed and what would have been cool, and I think this in the 90s would have been very cool. Maybe you guys like it now, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Now it's probably time to move on to the one that hopefully you guys would stop shouting "Right, sir!" at me at. And hopefully I can redeem you all and go for something which I think is a bit more modern and a bit more me. Let's see. Okay, and here we are with the next one. And as we spent all the time looking through all the parts on the first one, I'm going to try and make this a little bit quicker. Okay, so starting off in the Benny's Lowrider Mods section, I might go for this plate here just to be a bit different from this one. Although, actually, do you know what? No, I'm not going to go for that, and I'm not going to do any of the engine block stuff as we've seen it all, and I don't really think that is a cool look. It's alright, but it's not really suitable for the build I'm thinking, so I'm not going to go for that. And I am very tempted to go for the Animo R-Tune graphics, make it look like it was some sort of special edition car that I'm modifying. I'm very tempted. Do you know what? I love that look. I'm going to go for it. For the spoiler, I'm just going to go for the simple spoiler 1 because I think it looks really cool. Front bumper I want to keep simple, but I like the idea that this should have been the stock bumper. But I want to have the intercooler down the bottom there, so I'm going to go for bumper number 2. And then on the rear bumper, I want to go for the carbon fibre diffuser if we're going to go nice and modern with this one. It's definitely a bit of a mismatch with all these parts because that's definitely very highly modified rear and then stock front, but then I didn't want to go all out with that one. It's either that or I keep it stock. I don't know. Maybe that is alright. Maybe that does fly. And you know what? Sod it. I was right the first time. I'm keeping it like that. For the exhausts, now, it is tempting to go for a twin on each side because of the way that the carbon fibre diffusers are styled, but do you know what? I like just a big bore on one side. It's just a quintessential thing that I just like. So I'm going for it. For the roll cage, let's go mad. Go for a full body. For the splitters, do you know what? These are just a little bit too much for this one because especially where I've gone with this old style looking front bumper, that even that sort of, do you know what? I'm going to keep that stock. And I'm going to do the same for the hood because none of them are really singing out to me. And just like this bit on the front, I'm actually going to keep it stock with the badge. And again with the rear, I like the plastic bit in the middle with the badge, so I'm keeping it. And now part of me is thinking of going crazy and going with the roof rack, but yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to keep that stock as well. And then it's just a case of engine, brakes, transmission, and suspension, and just wheels, paint, and maybe a little bit of lowering. Let's see. Oh, and also a green tint, because that's cool. For the paint, I'm thinking of going metallic black steel. Don't know if there's going to be a nice flip to go with that, but actually I really like how that looks there. And then for the wheels, just something nice, modern, and simple. Like these, because they're nice, simple, modern, but they are also sort of split rim wheels in a simple design that works with tuner Japanese cars. I think that looks great, but I am going to go with a little bit of just using the V-Stancer because I just want to make this just look a little bit more. Well, we'll see. Let's have a look. So on the rear, I just want to go just down just a little bit. I mean, we have got quite sharp looking arches there, just a little bit sort of square looking. So I'm going to knock that down to, I don't know, maybe something just a little bit higher actually. But I just wanted to get it a little bit closer to the rear wheels there because I just think it looks really cool. We'll keep the track width like that, even if we are going to get a bit of rubbing. I just like how it looks. And then on the front, of course, we want to get that front nose sitting lower than the rear, so we're going to have to drop that quite a lot, which might ruin the look. Yeah, if we want to get that lower, it's going to have to be like there, which is really quite low. So, yeah, I think that look hasn't really panned out for me. I think I'm going to have to go up a bit at the rear. But it's just that the design of this car seems to give it a bit of rake, and I've got to be honest, I'm not a fan of rake. So I have to make sure that I can get the front not being too low, but not looking too back heavy, as it now does right there. Okay, so I've just basically pulled the front wheel out. I've given it a little camber, basically just so it doesn't clip through, but it's not really anything that's absolutely crazy or mental. I think that's the best I'm really going to manage for this one if I want to get it with a nice front nose down style look. So that's the best we're going to get. That is that one done, but I've got to say it does look so much nicer than the other one in my opinion. But maybe you guys think differently. Maybe you prefer the first one, maybe you just don't like either of them. You can let me know in the comment section below, but that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye!